Obi, I've told you, this Peter Obi, anybody who becomes president of Nigeria and does not give a right of place, I'm not saying an appointment for Peter Obi, Peter Obi will remove that person from office in another election. Mark my words.
So are you saying this same wave?
This same wave will not stop.
Be repeated.
This same wave, this Peter Obi, the people supporting him, the Peter Obi that I know, after this general election, they will continue.
Even though the next cycle of elections is in 4 years.
I'm telling you, those guys.
Possible as so everybody can follow the trend of the discussion, because when it becomes chaotic, people will be here. You may see numbers, but nobody is following. So I want to say, no matter what anybody is saying, no matter how you think is very damning, just allow him. The reason is more important is the reason you interrogate, because whatever thing he's saying, there are people who share that sentiment with him. Even if somebody comes and say Igbos are foolish, I may not like it, I may be triggered, but I'll allow him, because there are people who may also believe it. I want to interrogate your reason, to tell people how foolish you are by saying that. So Ego, I don't know. Okay, I don't. As Daniel is here. Before I come to Daniel, I just want to say something to you, Ego. Like I said, I don't believe in the thing you everything you say, but that is not like a remark on you as a person. It's just that we have differences in opinion. Daniel, you can go ahead.
No, we have let's tell me that raise his hand.
Huh?
Maybe you can see Femi is raising his hand, so let him go.
Okay,
I think I will come to him.
All right. Thank you very much. I wouldn't take much of your time.
You have 5 minutes.
All right. I just want to quickly respond to Ego before I talk on the topic. I don't know if you remember, but Peter Obi actually won in Lagos, which is Tinubu's stuff. This is Tinubu's state, and Peter Obi wins there. So you accusing all Yorubas, or calling APC a Yoruba state, or trying to be derogatory towards Yoruba, is actually not helping your matters, because I'm a Yoruba boy and I have a lot of Yoruba friends. I really don't know anybody among everybody in my circle that doesn't dislike Tinubu, or who is planning to vote for Tinubu, or who is not obedient, or okay, maybe even if they're not obedient, because there are some people that support Sowore and stuff like that. But generalizing and attacking Yorubas, one thing you need to know is these APC people you see on Twitter, they're a very, very loud minority. You just the same thing coming from the same set of people, propagating, retweeting each other and all of that. But majority of people you see, but just think it through. Like I already said, will be one in Lagos, and that's very, very huge. So that aside, on the topic, which is your coalition candidate, there's an angle, me personally, that I look at this thing from, because I listen to a lot of APC spaces. And first of all, let me say, of course, I'm obedient. I 100% support Obi. But there are some logical things. Okay, there are some things I actually agree with Ego on, where he said if Obi is given the ticket, he'll 100% win. Definitely 100% win. If we can get anything close to a free and fair election, not even anything less bad than what we had last time. Anything less bad than what we had last time, Obi is definitely going to win the election. That's what I think. You may disagree, but I think Obi was just marginally off last time. Now back to the main thing. I feel like there's a different way to actually look at this, because I'll be real with you. If Atiku is given the ticket, he will also win. I know many of you may not agree with this, but just hear me out. We have a lot of obedience that are going to get disgruntled. But I don't think the hate of Tinubu is as I don't think we hate Atiku as much as we hate Tinubu. If you get what I'm saying. If ADC survives, which is another thing I want to talk about in my short time, we need to prioritize this new coalition surviving, because if it doesn't survive, they wouldn't even have any reason to be having any conversation. This coalition has to survive 3 months, has to survive 6 months, have to go stronger. We have to see structure start, them putting in structures and being structured and all of that. And then after that, they bring the presidential candidate. Personally, I would want nothing more than like Obi getting the ticket. But I'm just saying, if Atiku gets the ticket as well,
So,
I wouldn't
on what ground do you think that people will win?
that's what I'm about to explain.
Okay.
Now, the last election, it was a three horse race. Just Atiku had a lot of votes as well, even though it wasn't as much as the other two participants, but he had a lot of people who voted for him as well. Now you have a lot of obedience who are disgruntled if Atiku gets the ticket. But Obi, if he agrees, the only issue here is that's why like I think we're looking at this thing the wrong way, and this is like the perspective I'm looking at. The priority here is ADC surviving, because if we split Atiku and Peter Obi again.
No. I mean, you are past that stage now. I want you to explain why you believe that people will win.
Yeah, that's what I'm coming. That's what I'm coming. Now, if ADC survives and Peter Obi and Atiku stays on the same team, you get what I'm saying? And then they do the primary, we are clamoring for free and fair election and all of that. Obviously, we know uh Atiku's financial powers. He could financially win primaries. You get what I'm saying? This is just like a logical perspective that I'm coming from. He can financially win the primaries. But if Peter Obi decides to stay on the coalition with Atiku and campaigns for Atiku is 100% going to win. 100%. Takes to the bank. But then that's what I'm saying. ADC survival is the most important thing here. Also, and another thing that I just want to drop before I leave is, of course, I'm not in the meetings or anything like that. But with my thought process, if what I just said now is going to happen, because obviously all of us want Obi to be the flag bearer, and from what it is right now, I feel like majority of the people are in support of that, are leaning that way.
You have not,
But if this other,
you have
but
not responded why Atiku will win. Because I wanted
that's
to tell you why it is for him.
that's what I just explained. A lot of
What
people will
did
be
he say?
disgruntled. A lot of people will be disgruntled, right? But if ADC stays the same and Peter Obi campaigns for Atiku, all the obedience movement is a very, very flexible movement. If Peter Obi today, a lot of people will be disappointed, but would rather vote for Atiku and maybe
Do
wait
you
for
know how many?
four terms,
Do you know how
one.
many people that? Do you know how many people that Atiku has campaigned for that didn't win the election?
I think
I mean, in the
you're
local.
underestimating Peter Obi.
No,
But
do you
then,
know how many people?
Obidient, just
Now look at it. See
respond.
what I'm trying to tell you. See the problem here, right? Article against Tinubu. The only thing that will make people to vote an article over Tinubu is Tinubu's bad performance, right?
we
Do you
already
agree
have
with
that.
me on that?
We already have that.
Do you agree? If you put the two of them together, as both individual as anything, and you ask people to choose, the only thing that will make people to choose Atiku over Tinubu is because Tinubu have not done well. Anything outside that, they are seemingly similar type of position. Do you agree with me on that?
I agree with you. But we already have that,
Okay.
which means
Okay. Yeah,
even
it's
by
bad
your own
performance.
exact,
Yeah,
we
so
already have bad performance.
let me now tell you why me I differ with you on that. In a society like America, where it's very pragmatic, where people vote based on performance, right? I listened to someone listen to Mitt Romney's second debate against Obama in 2012. The guy said he's unemployed, right? But he listened to Mitt Romney and he listened to Barack Obama. Yeah, Barack Obama couldn't deliver on his promise. But after listening to Mitt Romney, ended up, he said, let him just stick with Barack Obama because he's not even sure of this other guy. Why am I saying this? Many people will agree that Tinubu have not done well, but not many of them will believe that our people will do better. That is just where the problem lies.
With the backing from Peter Obi, I beg to differ.
Huh? I mean,
With Peter Obi backing him,
Peter Obi will not be the one running Atiku's government in any way, shape, or form. Atiku will be the one that will campaign for himself. So why will people be telling me that Atiku will do better than Tinubu be the reason why I will vote for Atiku?
If Peter Obi is
That's
promised
just the
a four term, like
eh?
if Atiku says after four term is gone, and then Peter
I
Obi will be the
mean,
next
all those
person.
things don't work now. How will you promise?
No, no,
So
no.
is it going to
This
come publicly to be telling Nigerians that P2B is going to take over?
no, he's not
Will
going to
he
say
do
that,
that?
but these are things that will go on behind the scenes
That is what
because
I'm telling you. Now, see, me, I'm from Anambra State. Eh?
Femi,
My village from people. Wait,
Alfonso,
guys, who is talking? Who is talking? Ego, wait, let me finish. Ego, wait, let me. Same here. My village to people, this village, if I start going from my house, it won't cost up to, it won't take more than 40 minutes. But I can tell you that even we are having Anambra State election, right? This particular year, we are hoping and praying that this involvement can flip it for a particular candidate. But is that settled? We are not even sure. He may not even be in top three. So I do not think that on the average that you motivate people by saying, "Oh, P2B is supporting this person." People know that P2B will not be in
it
the
will go a long
government.
way. It will go a
I
very,
mean,
very long way.
Nigerians are not. Well, I don't know how you see politics because we saw Peter Obi support Obiano, right, as a sitting governor, and he fall apart with Obiano less than 1 year in office. We saw El Rufai support Obasani, they fall apart. So the argument that if people are going to trust Peter Obi for Atiku, I don't think that will even work in any way, shape,
I
or
mean,
form.
Alfonso,
it's not the end.
Yeah, that's just it.
It's not what I want. It's not what I want.
Femi,
But
Femi,
this
I
Yeah,
want to
issue,
put something.
that's my own point of view. I don't think, and mind you, there will be other people who will also be campaigning on Tinubu's behalf because there will be funds and everything. That's why I think I said that if you look at the two of them, just put Atiku and Tinubu on the same, like stand them out as politicians. The only thing that distinguishes the two of them is that Tinubu is presently in office, right? And he's not doing well. There's another thing you may say that if you say Tinubu is a tribal bigot because of what he has said, I think you have said something like that also. If you said Tinubu, so any other argument you may want to make for the two of them, they are seemingly the same people. The only difference is that Tinubu has done badly and Atiku is not yet the president.
this
And
is
if you are
unknown.
presenting the two of them, it would have been enough if people would be able to trust this guy on one or two track record. Let's say you are having a Tinubu against Fashola. We will say Tinubu will go for Fashola overwhelmingly, especially in the south, right? Because they believe that he's probably a better person or he has. But if you are saying you are doing it on performance, but if you are doing it between Tinubu and Atiku, it will take a lot for you
And
to
we don't
convince
Alfonso,
have
that
something
I,
like
person
that.
to
We don't have
Alfonso,
actually.
wait,
something
Yeah,
like
but
that for Obi either. We don't
that's
have
just
track
the
record.
that's
before
just
you
the point.
talk,
That's just the point I want to let you know. That so you can
Femi,
go on and wrap up your point so that we'll move the mic. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Igbo
Femi,
just wait. They
Let
are
me just
giving
round up.
us
Femi,
feedback.
Let me just
Femi,
round up
before
then
you
The
if
round up,
if I
Igbo,
respond.
Femi, before you round up, please don't be offended. Before you round up, you guys keep on saying, are you hearing me? You guys keep on saying P2B.
Wait, please, guys, listen. There is something that's happening here. I was tracking this guy, Femi. He just spoke for 2 minutes. The next 4 minutes was him and Alpha. So he still has about 4 minutes. That's why I always say, leave somebody to talk so that we know we have given him enough grounds. Let him talk. So that
That's what I'm saying now. Alfonso took almost his minutes now, and that's why I was calling Alfonso to order that he's taking his minutes, and I want to answer something that guy
yeah,
was saying.
Femi,
let me wrap up.
you have my take on
Let him go on with his submission.
you have to align your thoughts quickly so we know where you're heading. So just take another 4 minutes and round up, please.
Okay, I'll less than that. I'll round up there. Personally, everything I narrated just now is just like what I'm thinking about because after listening to I don't know if you listen to Dati Ahmed on Arise News earlier today. He himself he couldn't categorically say Obi is going to get his primaries because he knows the financial prowess of Atiku and money goes a very, very long way, especially in primaries. Now, with this in mind, personally, of course, I want Obi to be the flag bearer. Hopefully, this is what happens. But I'm just saying, if it happens otherwise, having Atiku supported by Obi it's still not what we want, but it's not the worst thing in the world, if you get what I'm saying. And finally, before I leave, this is personally, this is what's going to be like the ideal situation for me. Just the same way Tinubu, like for a long time, was was kind of a godfather, I don't know, like a kingmaker, like what he was to Buhari. If he takes that, if he could decide to take that kind of role on this coalition, like be the one to like financially support Obi. But I feel like they're dreaming, but in my head, I'm just like, if it's going to be a tussle between Atiku and and uh, and, uh, and Obi, then we're still like in for a literally we're still like we're nowhere before even this coalition, because if they get divided again, it's still a very, very big issue. But my own priority is for this coalition to stay together and to answer the title in just a phrase. Yeah, I want Obi. Obi is my peak. Replying to what Alpha said right now, that we don't know Atiku's track record and all of that. I mean, Obi doesn't have like a federal track record either. It's just goodwill and hope as well that we have on Obi. So I'm just in summary, I don't talk much on spaces, but I'm just trying to say, if we end up not having Obi on the ticket, which is a possibility. I mean, if you listen to APC spaces, they say a lot of bullshit, but from what they say, sometimes you can actually logically come to some conclusions yourself. There's a very there's a probability. I won't call it very huge, but there's a probability there that Atiku actually comes out with this shit and Obi gets pissed and leave this coalition. Then we're back to where we started from, of three-party fight, and this is just going to make the election easier for Tinubu. Thank you very much. That's my summary.
Okay, thank you.
Please, Femi, I want to say, Nedu, don't be offended. I want to say something on what Femi said. Whenever people come here to say, but Obi won in Lagos, it is another way of, like, I see it, I see it as being childish. You know why? When you say Obi won in Lagos and you want to use Lagos to generalize the whole of Yoruba, like making it feel like it is the West in the Lagos that made Obi to win, then why didn't Obi win in Osun? Apart from Lagos, which other
I
Yoruba?
think we won Osun now. I mean, if you do this thing, it won't even favor us in the first place. Because I think we won us, will be one Lagos. Nobody got 5% in Southeast. So I mean, if you even want to do this, it won't even favor us. So leave that conversation for another
Yeah, what is trying
for bigotry space. When they go to when you go to get a bigotry space, you can keep it. But for the benefit of the conversation we're having now, we can
and
move it somewhere else.
for the
Yeah,
point is that Obi winning Lagos
the,
is not a factor of Yoruba vote, and it makes sense. You know, he's trying to say
again,
factor of
again,
Lagos for
again,
45%.
again, again, Tinubu losing Osun State also shows that the APC is not a Yoruba party per se. It shows that the Yoruba people are not pulling with him.
What Eagle is saying in that aspect is not about. It's not. He worded it wrongly. But what he's trying to say is that APC is not. It has no national spread. But it's just that he worded it wrong. I understand.
No. That I understand the point, but it's a two-edged sword that could also mean that Yoruba people backed him
So
unanimously.
that's
But the
they
Yoruba,
have to correct
but
the
the
word.
Yoruba, but the Yorubas in
Yes. You know.
but the Yorubas in Osun State, wait, but the Yorubas in Osun State backed Atiku. Or will you also say that Osun State does not have majority of Yoruba people? The elder statesmen like Obasanjo backed what's it called? Backed Obi. Afenifere backed Obi. So will you say that Osun State does not have majority of Yoruba people?
Okay.
But Atiku won Osun State.
He's giving you a thumbs. I wanna just allow him 1 minute. Let me know why he's giving you a thumbs down. He could just have me also we pass them.
We'll give him the time. We'll give him the time. But a lot of Yorubas in Lagos actually voted for Obi. Alimosho local government is one of the biggest Yoruba dominated local government, and only one day. So anyway, me, I'm not very familiar with
He didn't put
Lagos.
it very right, but I understand the point he was making. You know.
Yeah. I understand the point he is also trying to make, but it can easily be misconstrued.
Absolutely.
I mean, as easy as possible.
Absolutely.
So that's just the thing. So, the idea that Yoruba has been back Tinubu is actually very ridiculous. but I know that there are political machinery in the southwest favored him. That's just what I can say. But if you think that the average that he might have won southwest, but not in the same magnitude that Obi used to win southeast. So if you do the bigotry thing, it won't even favor you. It won't favor you because Tinubu didn't get 80% of the vote in southwest. If you take it the tribal lane, that's just the thing. So that's just what. So you can, yeah, yeah, you can pass the mic. Yeah, the ego is trying to come up. Just give him mic. Let him use 1 minute to say what he wanted to say. So that he will easily. I don't know. It's just the purpose of this place, and I know nobody wants to. But for me, anybody trying to sell the snake oil of coalition without it to be filling the ticket. Anyway, I am not against you people, but I am convinced that that ticket is very likely to lose the election. It doesn't matter how far you want to beg. If you do it for, if you do it for, if you want to do it against, if you want to go tribal, you also go tribal with Atiku. After all, he's a full animal. Why is he trying to take the turn of another people after having Buhari for 8 years with all the herdsmen crisis? So I mean, if you want to go tribal, we'll do it with everybody, and it doesn't favor anybody. So let us stay on the issue and be reasonable. Yeah, that's it.
I have my own
So
opinion on these things, but just for the sake of making.
yeah, me, I hate doing tribal things. I don't do that. But I don't know how what I don't I don't know how we'll beg Eagle to leave tribal nonsense out of this. Because you go tribal,
He's making.
you will not have Fulani people who are just less than 5% of the population coming back through Atiku after having 8 years of Buhari. I mean, to be honest with you, it does not favor anybody here.
See,
You can stay within the conversation and be serious.
let's see. Eagle is not going to play with words and win anybody here. We understand English. I understand what he was trying to play around with. But my concern here is to find a way to move this discussion, to always keep moving the discussion. That's my own concern. So I will say this. Let's give people.
I basically don't know why he wants to make it about tribe.
No, he's not.
I don't know.
What he's trying to do is to gaslight certain persons. I understand, but let's give him 1 minute. Ego land, so we move to another person, and then we have to give people 5 minutes. They make their point, then we interrogate the point, then we move to another person. Ego, say what you want to say in 1 minute, please. Hello, Ego.
You see, Nedu, I think Alphonso should better. You see, Nedu,
okay, yeah.
I think Alphonso should better rename any of his space. Let it be just him alone. He should talk alone, reply to himself alone. Because I can't see the reason Alphonso will almost take 4 minutes of somebody's time. He will talk and talk and talk and talk. But then what's the sense of giving people a mic? I think he should have the control, the impulse. I don't like talking and talking and talking and talking. You can't allow other people to speak. You be the host and you be the speaker at the same time. Anyway, what I was saying is this. You see, in Lagos, saying Obi won in Lagos is like telling us that Obi won in Abuja. And anybody, any region that uses Lagos to take a glory as to show that maybe it is this thing that made Obi win, is trying to lie to himself and lie to everybody, because we know Lagos is not only about a particular region. The population of Lagos is mixed with people of different ethnicity and people from different places in Nigeria. So Obi winning there, if you want to tell me that, Obi won in Yoruba land, show me any other Yoruba land that is aside from Lagos. Don't come here and tell me that Obi won Lagos, therefore it means that Obi won a state in Lagos.
How about Atiku win Osun State?
I'm telling you, in Lagos. If you tell me
how about Atiku winning Osun State?
Listen.
No. How about Atiku winning Osun State?
Listen, if you tell me about winning Oyo, Alphonso, listen, you have a impulse.
No. I'm not getting to this. You have repeated Obi winning Lagos like 10 times here. Nobody is interested in that. So let's assume you win the argument, which is very logical about Lagos, right? How about Atiku winning Osun State? Speak on that also. Thank you.
Tell me Obi won or tell me that Obi won Oyo or Ekiti, I'll be calm. But telling me that Obi won Lagos, therefore Yoruba will be equal.
This guy, you want to derail this space for no reason. I mean, let us move. What is this now? You're having conversation. You want to trigger people for no reason.
Okay, let me
I mean, keep repeating Obi. Was Obi the only candidate?
Okay.
Wait. Obi wasn't the only candidate in the last election.
Please. Alpha, hold on a
Wait,
second, please.
wait, wait.
Nedu, please, can you just give me a second? Let me see. Let's see how we can redirect the space. Eagle, I mean, I think your point has been made, and people who are listening, I just opened my Facebook. I saw that this space is being also streamed on NjenjeMedia, and that means that other people are also listening. All right, and I wouldn't want us to toe a tribal line here. Even we understand where you're coming from, right? We understand where you're coming from, and this concerns, for me personally, I think is not our fault.
But,
Alpha, can you give me?
Doctor, 1 second. But I want him to answer. Why is he jumped? Why is he leaving the argument
what I want
about?
to play.
Why is he leaving
Please
the
now,
argument
hold on,
about?
please.
One
You've also
second.
asked him the question, all right? You've also asked him the question, okay, what about Atiku? And that, I think everybody heard that question, please. And what I will do now is let the audience listening do whatever they want with that information, all right? So you've also used that to counter that argument that Atiku winning Lagos does not also necessarily mean, which is, let us do whatever we want to do with that information. But
I mean, I think one or show state. That is what
yes,
I'm saying. And if you
I
look
think
at the
everybody heard you.
composition, yeah. Let me put something so that you understand what I'm saying. If you look at the last election, right, there was no representative of Yorubaness in PDP ticket. They didn't have president, they didn't have vice, they didn't have even campaign DG, they didn't have spokesperson, right? But I think we pulled away in Osun State.
All right.
I mean, a
Alpha,
resounding victory,
Alpha, I think that
including
point
PDP
has been
winning three.
made. Really, honestly,
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I mean, Dr. CJ, I'll pass the mic because I listened for a very long time. For like 4 hours, I didn't even say
I
anything.
told you
But
this
just
thing.
give
Like,
me
people
like these
always
2 minutes
complain
so that I'll
about
pass
you
it on.
hogging the mic for too
Yeah,
long. I mean, if there's a monologue, we can do
yeah.
that in
Just
the
give me.
beginning.
Yeah.
And
So
people at the end of the day,
yeah, so that is just what I.
what happened is people are going to leave
But
the space,
yeah,
and we're just going to be talking to ourselves always. We
yeah.
want to have
So
new people come into this
Just
space and argue
I want
with
to
us.
defend
You
the
understand?
Eagle. But the point Eagle is making, you guys are not understand. And I understand what he's saying. What he's saying is this: yes, Article 1 Ocean. But if we put this thing into perspective, he won because he had a sitting governor campaigning for him. I wanted him to make that point. He's saying that P2B won Lagos without any political representation because it's Lagos. So I wanted, when you ask somebody, allow them, just give people time, just 2 minutes, let him make it. That was what he was trying to say. If you argue Article winning
But
Ocean
yeah,
State,
Nedu, I don't think Nedu,
Nedu,
my brother Nedu, I don't think I didn't
Nedu,
understand it, and I don't think people
that's
didn't
not
that
the
was
understand
what
it.
he
point.
I
was
understood
saying.
it that way
No,
as
no, I
well.
wanted him to make the argument here now so that we understand what he's saying. Because the problem I had with what he was saying was it was not about political machine. He was talking about people, a tribe. And it doesn't see, I mean,
No, he
who
was
does it
saying that.
sit well with in this thing?
That was what he was trying to say because there was a time he said, but he was saying, but I heard him say governor in Oshun. He was making that point. I heard him, and that's why I always say.
He didn't say anything about that. When I asked him about how about Atiku winning Osun State, he kept on saying, if you tell me Obi win
Okay, but
Ekiti State, if
let's
you
leave that
tell me
one. Let's
Obi.
leave that one.
Oh, no, I mean, what's the essence of those things now?
Forget about.
I mean, the
Don't
point,
just start on this.
yeah,
Let's come on in. Let us speak. Let's talk. But let's do this thing, Alpha.
let's just move the mic.
5 minutes
Just
uninterrupted.
move the mic.
Then
Just,
we'll interrogate them.
yeah, I will not interrupt. It's not my thing, but this whole tribal thing is it's not the line we want to do because, huh?
Come on in. You have the mic.
Yeah, pass the mic, so that people
Thank
don't,
you
I mean,
very, very much.
don't,
Sometimes when you guys argue, I laugh a lot. So
yeah,
why?
okay, you can go. Me,
Yes, I'm on now. I said sometimes when you guys argue, I laugh a lot. We are arguing. This person won this state. This person won this state. Why are we arguing that when we know that election have never been free and fair in Nigeria. That it's all about, we all know what winning election is all about. And we all saw it. So why are we arguing that this person won here, this person won here? I mean, we are trying to give credit to the APC or the Agbado to see, oh, what they did, they're even acknowledging it. So for goodness sake, going forward, we shouldn't be arguing this person won here or won here. I'm not okay with that. You can only say that if election is free and fair, then you can make that basis. So let me make my submission quickly. So based on the topic, it says I should come and market my candidate. Without apology, my candidate is Obi. And then to market him, I want to go with this direction. People have been saying primary. We the obedient, we are not afraid of primary. We only have concern. Personally, I have concern. And I have some cases I want to present here. If we're talking about primary election, we forgot that there are statutory delegates, and then there are delegates from the ward level, the local government, state, henceforth. And they say, just go and register, come and show your popularity. It's not only about popularity. If you watch the people there, we see that these are past this, ex this, past this. So the question is, those past this, past that, have they actually done a new leaf such that they are sincerely and they are truthful to themselves that they want a new Nigeria, that they cry, that the pain in the land is actually touching them such that they now want to come and undo the evil they have brought to Nigeria or they have helped to bring to Nigerians. One of them said, I am coming to undo my evil in the place of Erufai. But every other delegate, every other person there that were, in quote, were acclaimed as criminals or those that brought Nigeria low. My question is, how sincere are they that when this dollar is dancing on their faces, when this meeting is called in a hotel and this thing is shown to them in a briefcase and they can resist it to say, no, I want a new Nigeria where farmers can go back to the farm. I want a new Nigeria where someone can close work by midnight. Me, I'm a pharmacist and I finish my call, or I happen to go to hospital and I have an emergency in the hospital and I'm called. And I'm sure that while driving to the hospital, I have no issue on the way. Can they jettison that dollar in place of what Nigerians are suffering currently? I want to point this to us. You know, when they say Obi have, somebody have, say Obi have is a billionaire. He should bring money. He have people that can donate dollar from all over the world. It's not about Obi donating dollar. We already know that we know they give shishi. And it's not that Obi cannot bring in dollar. But you see the effect. If this dollar is brought for primary, for the election, when the person enters office, you'll begin to hear about 6 trillion naira in budget padding. You begin to hear about how many billion naira used in building 1 kilometer away, and so many others. They will care nothing about the people. So my candidate Ramon Obi, because of his frugality and his sincerity and his decisiveness. I will end with this. Article will be 8 something, and I'm very sure that those delegates and you yourself cannot employ Article to come and head your company. Lastly, would you want your children to emulate a personality of Article or Obi? Can you personally, can you emulate the personality of Obi or Article? Answer these questions.
Eze, thank you so much. Everyone, listen, I hope you saw how Eze did his thing. So we have to follow his template. Make your submission, and then if anyone wants to say something, the person can come in. Eze, I don't know if you were a pastor before, but I really loved the way you you did yours. Moving the if anybody has
Nedu, please, before you move the mic to checks, please let me just quickly say something. My internet is a bit shaky. Now, this is to my Oga Alpha. I beg, we're trying to bring people to have conversations with them. We don't want a situation where we chase people out of our space. All right, let's have people come in and rub mine. Let's not put them down, please. I beg.
all right, thank you so much.
So that's what I just want to say, Alpha. I beg. People complain a lot about this, you hogging the mic for too long. I understand that, yeah, you're the host of the space, and let's have our brethren speak, then we interrogate it. I think Checks also share the same idea. Let's speak whatever rubbish you want to say it.
Yeah,
We'll interrogate it. All
absolutely.
right. Thank you very much for listening to that. We can now pass the mic to
Yeah,
our
that's
big brother here, Checks
what
NG. Thank you very much.
that's also what I stands for. I'm gonna go to Ego. Ego, you have 1 minute because there is a question Alpha is asking you, and you just have 1 minute to answer that question. What about Atiku winning in Osun State or your state? I don't know which one. Please don't dance around the bush. Just go straight to it. And after Alpha will also come back. So you guys have about 4-5 minutes to go through this. Ego, you have the mic. I'll come to you, Checks and New Nigeria. But let's Ego finish off the point he was trying to make. Ego, are you still there? Ego, you're giving me a thumbs down. You're not ready to speak. Okay, we go to a New Nigeria. After you, we can move to Checks. I don't know you and Checks who is first.
Hello?
Yeah, New Nigeria.
Hello?
The mic, you can speak here.
Yeah, how everybody, good day. Alphonse, God bless you for what you're doing. See, enthusiasm. There's an English word, enthusiasm. Who will enthusiase the children, the youths? There's one guy they called Don Hazard. The guy that broke down the tax reforms, Tinubu, the guy just break down this thing. Who will the youth come out to vote for? Is it Atiku? Come on. Even Atiku is my father now, I will tell him. No, we will go to the coalition. Oh, you don't understand me. We will go and do what we have to do. Obedience. Go and collect your card or what they call it, ID membership, so that we will be part of it. I don't know how they do this delicate thing, but what that he was saying yesterday is we shouldn't forget how primaries are held in Nigeria. You get me? This is not where he was thinking that they will use that Buhari style, the way they brought in Buhari, because Obi is not going to spend 1 naira for anybody. To lead, you're not supposed to lead the country. You're not supposed to buy it. It's not for leadership. It's not for sale. You know what I mean? It's that organic love that we are looking for. Show me where is the organic love. After Buhari, the next person that is close to organic love is Obi. If you're not taking supporter, come and defend it here. After Buhari's that momentum crowd that follows Buhari, it will be now. Who else? Me, I'll not be Igbo. I'll not be this thing. We're talking of capacity to do things. Who can defeat Tinubu? So at the end of the day, let's put hands together. You get me? Because now it's not, forget all the Amici. It is now between Atiku and Obi. But Obi is more than VP. Come on, somebody that won 2 regions. This guy don't has that. The guy used his mass way to describe everything. Obi won 2 regions. Atiku won only 1. Obi won Abuja. All these things are important. You see why Trump is struggling to win New York. All these places are important. California, all those places are important. They are important. You are a ruling party. You didn't win Lagos. You didn't win Abuja. You didn't win Kaduna. You didn't win Kano. Okay, fine. You got some 25%. Fine, but you didn't win it. That means the people are not happy with you. If you're a leader, Awolowo never had all these problems. Awolowo cleared the whole of the Southwest because they believed in him. Awolowo cannot be dragging, Obi cannot be dragging Southwest. What they call it? Equipment or Zik cannot be dragging Southwest with Awolowo that time. But in this election, Obi dragged Southwest dragged every region with the other opponents. But none of them was able to drag his own region. Are you saying Igbos don't like anybody? If you want to talk about people that vote in a on tribalistic way. Yeah, they are the Igbos. Let's say the truth. So that tomorrow somebody will talk the truth about you too. Eh? Somebody will talk about truth to you so and might see the enthusiasm of the youth. Let's encourage these children. People that are 18, somebody's going to be 18.
Sorry,
Somebody's
who is
to
sorry, who is
18 years
talking?
old.
Who is talking? Who is talking now, please? It's not showing on my.
It's
Who is
New
talking?
Nigeria.
Okay, okay, go on.
Let's encourage these youths. And the encouragement is to Obi. And Obi will not do more than 4 years. How long is that? 4 years time. It's over now. Let's test these people. Let's see, even the southeast, most of our people, when it comes to, if have you noticed that when it comes to finance, head of this, it's always the southeast people. It's always look at Okonjo Iweala. Let's try these people. These guys, they have something. They came out from a war with nothing, but look at where they are today. Let's try these guys. Let them come and put in their businesses and grow Nigeria. It's only for 4 years. It's not they're not putting God on our head. Come on, are you people not tired? Come. Not, you understand me? We should. Sure then. Good day, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much, New Nigeria.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Maybe,
was collected when
maybe
you
just
said
give me,
about the topic.
maybe just, yeah, maybe just give me 30 seconds. Please, this is exactly why I didn't want this tribal whole nonsense. Now, if you go by the result of the last election, just like New Nigeria rightly said, it will mean that Igbos actually are the most tribalistic. I mean, how do you even fall for this cheap nonsensical trap? Anyway, let's pass the mic.
Yeah, that you can still make the point. Like you could still substantiate on it very well. But I guess I understand what he was trying to say about. He was just trying to say about where Obi won
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one.
Look at the numbers now. Look at the numbers. You got 85%, and nobody made 10% of the vote in the region. I mean, if you want to make the tribalism argument, I mean, I mean, you kill yourself in that argument, and someone really want to push it here, where every other person is listening. You don't even know the narrative that you said
Bro,
that you will win.
Contested. They didn't vote for him as popular as that man. They didn't. Come on,
So
did you see his
yeah,
numbers?
You
the
see,
point is very simple.
Those guys
Listen.
don't vote
The
anyhow. They
last
don't vote
election,
Maybe,
anyhow. They
the
are
maybe
they
can
last
you
don't
hear
vote
me?
anyhow.
I'm in a
They
bit
vote with
quiet place
sense.
now. Let me say something in regards to that question you asked me. That's why I was thumping down when
Wait,
you
wait,
asked that
wait,
question.
wait,
I was
wait,
in a
wait,
noisy
wait,
place.
I'll come to you. I'll come to you. Please, please, Benny, I'll come to you. Just
Those
let
guys
them
don't
finish
vote
up this.
anyhow, man. They
Hold on,
vote
hold
with
on,
sense,
hold
and they have been voting the right candidates all since 1999. Come on.
on. Yeah.
All right, all right. I think what is going to happen is, I think Nedu, you don't want to co-host this space well. Let me try to help you in that. We're going to
No,
give.
wait, wait,
Hold on
wait,
a
wait,
second,
wait,
please.
wait.
Nedu, please hold on a second, please.
Wait.
Just hold on a second.
It's not easy to manage. Just one
Oh, yeah.
second. There is something I'm doing with. Um, New Nigeria was saying something. There is something Alpha was asking New Nigeria, and he was trying to make his point. He's asking New Nigeria because there was something New Nigeria used. He's used the word tribalistic. So Alpha was trying to interrogate that. So I was waiting on Alpha to finish. Then I can pass the mic to New Nigeria before coming to Ego.
Okay,
You
because
know.
because at the end of the day, why I always interrupt and want us to have one person speaking at a time, and it's because really, what I see here we're doing here is not just to argue. I believe that we're also educating people on the other audience, like on Facebook.
Absolutely, I
All right, so
agree with
we
you.
want to be able to, because just to jump into somebody's making submission. When you make your submission, right, people listen to it, interrogate it. Maybe one person will jump in and ask you a question and mute the mic. The person is going to answer. But to have this back and forth, where we have people
No,
listening, we're trying to
no,
establish. Just a second, please. We're trying to establish points that people will listen and draw conclusion from. All right, but we will have a rowdy house where people are just jumping in and all that. I don't think it's cool. All right, so let me just help you with that. Let me help you. Nedu,
okay,
you've done so well. You've done so well. Hold on a second. So let's go to checks NG, please. Every other person should wait. Nedu,
They have
please,
not
Nedu, please, Nedu, please, Nedu, please, Biko.
interrupted.
We're
There's
going to
no
eventually
I want
we're
to
going to
answer it, then you can
we,
go to
we're
checks.
going
That's
to
what I'm saying.
gain
So,
traction. traction, please. We're going to gain traction. That thing you want to do, we're going to get back there. Just hold on a second. There's something I'm doing. This is going to bring the space in a direction that we want to go. Please, I beg you. And let's give the mic to Checks. Checks, please. Go ahead.
No, Dr. CJ, I don't even mind Ego answering the question. It's just that this is a space. This is not a radio station. Allow the conversation to flow, for God's sake. You have been speaking here for how many hours? Allow people to talk. I don't even mind. Ego, please feel free to answer the question that you were asked. Maybe I will speak after you. You understand me? I want to put some corrections on what you said. But I don't mind you answering your question. If you are there, please pick the mic and answer the question. Then I will go. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, if you can hear me, I'm in a bit noisy area now. Now listen, Alphonso asked me if I'm saying that Obi's winning in Lagos shouldn't be used to judge the Yorubas, the West. That what about PDP that won, Atiku that won in Osun? The question I think Alphonso asked himself is PDP in Osun State, who is the governor of Osun State? Which party is controlling Osun? Osun have how many sitting senators of PDP in Osun State as a 2023 election? So when you talk of PDP winning Osun, it's not even surprising. But what I'm saying is this: that in Lagos State, Lagos is a state that is mixed of different ethnic groups. So why telling me that Obi won in Lagos should be a criteria to judge the whole of Yoruba? It's unacceptable. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, thank you, brother. Let me correct you first of all. Tinubu is supposedly
10 seconds. 10 seconds. So you see the problem, right? So suddenly, PDP having senators and governor in Osun State, suddenly they stop being tribalistic. I mean, why can't we even say logical consistency? Church, you can go.
Ego, thank you for your voice of opinion. However, I do think, respectively, you are wrong. First of all, okay, now let's talk about Lagos. Can you go and check the population of Yoruba people in Lagos State? Yoruba people has more than 50% of Lagos State population, and the others has less than 50%. So if you are to say that it was not non-Yorubas that voted P2P, then he's not supposed to win. Because of what? You have more Yorubas in Lagos State than every single ethnic group in Nigeria. This is like an official recorded document in Nigerian population, in the last population census. So you saying that P2P won Lagos because of non-Yorubas is actually wrong. That is number one. Number two is that you even have APC mercenaries full in Lagos State. Tinubu is supposedly a former Lagos State governor. So this is also to prove a fact that Yoruba people are not tribalist when it comes to politics. If they are, then there is no way P2P could have won Lagos State. Also, to strengthen my argument, you have to know the level of politics in Nigeria. During the last election, one thing that Ronu Group pushed was ethnic politics. And P2P winning Lagos State means that ethnic politics they push, we are like not much successful. I had an interview of one PDP man in Lagos State who made it clear that Tinubu struggled to actually win 25% of total vote in Lagos State, that P2P won Lagos State overwhelmingly. So, bro, it is harsh to point finger at Yoruba people for voting in tribal line. If P2P won Lagos State and Yoruba people have more population in Lagos State, it points out that Yorubas are not actually tribalists. However, there are some groups of political bandits they are called Ronu or something, who are trying to push that ethnic lines. I would also suggest Yoruba people should not allow that nonsense to stand. Same way we are fighting IPOP people, is the same way Yoruba people should fight that Ronu group, so that Nigerian politics should not descend to ethnic listen. Now, in relation to Osun State, if you listen to the incident before the election, I was watching one video where students were calling Tinubu Ole, something like that. They were singing it. So at the end of the day, Tinubu lost Lagos and lost. He is supposed to be their former governor, and he is supposed to be from Osun State. maybe you may be harsh on criticizing them. Now, I can even go back in 2019 election to strengthen my argument. In 2019 election, the opposition was PDP. They picked Atiku Abubakar from the northeast and picked P2B from the southeast. The Yoruba people does not have, Yoruba as a group does not have any standing in the opposition. In APC, that is supposed to be the incumbency then, they have the vice president and they have a lot of their people in that serving in cabinet of that administration. Go and check the result of that election. PDP won 3 of the states and did very well in the rest of the 3. So it was like shared vote. That means that they did not vote as per ethnic line. However, I can understand your opinion. There are some group who might be even in their minority trying to push their ethnic identity politics, which is even now getting rotten. So this is me trying to be honest. I am not defending anybody. And again, in the last election again, however, I do think it is hard on Igbo people to judge Igbos on that election. Igbos will always vote the best candidate. I will give them that.
I'm not saying I didn't do that too, but I just threw it back based on what
to counter ego, which is actually wrong. Igbos will always vote the best candidate. Check from 2019 till today. So bro, in 2019, from 1999, check it. So there are many evidence to prove that we always vote the best candidate. And in 2023, the best candidate was P2B. So he was united and vote for their brothers. Do you understand me, bro? Moving out from this argument, and I wish this will not descend on these people vote on this ethnic line. These people vote on this ethnic line. If there are people who does that, I do not think that Yoruba people we are those group. We know who they are. I will not call anybody name. However, there are bad eggs. If you are a Yoruba, please try to suppress that bad eggs you have amongst you who are trying to push identity, ethnic hate in the name of politics. Please, please, I beg you in the name of God, do well to suppress that idiot, that group of political vampires. Now I'm going to your coalition candidate. My coalition candidate in the next election is P2B. That is who I think that has what it takes to turn this Nigeria around. Nigeria is heading to the wrong direction. There is a need to steer Nigeria around. There is a need of somebody who is different from what we have now. There is a need of a man who has the interest of the country at heart, without much self-pride, without trying to like offer positions to his best friends, his families, and relatives. We need somebody who has what it takes to turn the fortune of this country around. Now, this is me not saying that there are other people who are not good. I am not condemning anyone. That is not things I do. In politics, not everybody is angel and not everybody is bad. However, in my opinion, I do think that P2P is the best. Then in conclusion, if you look at things at the ground, I'm not trying to blackmail anyone, but one point those APC guys are not trying to push in their non-existent Southern unity. Southern unity does not exist, for goodness sake. Southerners will always vote for the best candidate. We do not vote ethnicity. However, they are trying to push their fake Southern unity. Their talking point is that the Northerners will not allow the Southerners to complete their 8 years. So they are trying to push their brother into those positions because they do not want to be left out of any administration. That is what they see. That they see Nigeria, you know such rubbish talk that Nigeria belongs to them. They are trying to bring emotional manipulation and blackmail. Do you understand me? So I do think, I am not trying to blackmail anyone, but I do think it will be well if this coalition prove them wrong. This will be like a punch to their face to prove them wrong. That this coalition will bring out the best candidate in P2B. That it is not about some group of people who are not happy with Tinubu or those who has fallen out of favor with him, but it is a group of Nigerians, not just group of Nigerians, but the whole Nigerians who have seen what this administration has put us through, and we are now rising up against them. And the best way of proving that is to bring out someone who Nigerians do think actually that this man is a person, if he ascend into those positions, we will see changes. Though things will not be 100% the best, or we will be America overnight, but we will see a change in Nigerian fortune. So my candidate is P2B. Every listen pointed at him as the best person for the positions. But it is left for Nigerians also to look through all the candidates. We will not like to make the mistake of 2015. Nigeria cannot afford such mistake again. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Alpha and Dr. CJ. Thank you. And thank you, Nedu, and everybody on the speaker sections and listeners. I yield my mic.
Yes, CJ, let me go say something. Thank you so much. And the last speaker. I think there is I'm just seeing this thing now. There is and it's right off what the Ego has been saying. I think there is a misconception or maybe misalignment between a person winning a state or a region based on tribalism and a person within a state or region based on the fact that this is my strong fort, like this is my strong area. For example, I don't know if that's the argument egoist. I don't want to beat about this thing too much because we have dwelled on this, but it's time we start. And I'm talking about the Nigerian consciousness. It's time we start knowing if just winning a region, a state, makes that state tribalistic. Because there was something the last speaker said that immediately he said it struck a bell in me, or it struck a chord. He said Yoruba people are not tribalistic, which I overwhelmingly believe. That it's a few people in Osun State. So it makes me begin to think, are we expecting P2B to win in Osun? Or maybe, are we expecting Osun people to vote for Obi? Sorry, are we expecting Osun people? Or maybe the reason Tinubu won Osun may be more of that Obi is not known in Osun, or just because of tribalism. I'm beginning to look at things differently and say, oh, maybe you're just not popular there. Not because they wanted to vote tribalist, or maybe, not because they wanted to be tribalistic, So this idea of, it's a simplistic way of looking at things. So once somebody wins a state, or maybe once somebody wins his region or wins his state, then it means tribalism. I think we need to throw more light on that. Not on this space, but I no longer agree with that simplistic mindset. That's what I wanted to point out. And
Sorry, apologies. Did I mention that about P2B?
What I'm saying is, you said Yorubas are not tribal, and I agree with you. So, but Eagle is trying to say, okay, Obi didn't win here because of, I don't know if he's trying to make it tribal, and I'm like, no, it may
Nedu, let me help you a little bit so that that is why I asked him, right? So if I now ask him, supposing the governor of Osun State was an LP guy and he has senators, don't you think that? And mind you, going to the election, the only position PDP had there was governorship. The three senators were APC. Osun used to be strong APC stronghold before that time. But the governor moved to PDP, right? So the question I would have put to him is, supposing the governor was LP, wouldn't P2B have won there if he believed it was the party machinery that helped Atiku win there? But the thing is this, if you look at the election results, if you go back to history and not just this last election, let's go to 2015 election. Goodluck Jonathan literally have 48% of the votes there. If you don't have gotten 10%, if they were that tribalistic. But anyway, let's pass the mic. This is not the conversation I want to have.
Yeah, Dr. CJ, over to you.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Nedu. Pardon for I just wanted us to have a conversation that's what the space is all about. I mean, we want to market our candidate, and reason why I don't really like so much back and forth, because I want us to attract people to come here and learn something. And again, when we are marketing our candidates, so because we're in an election period now, we're getting in there now, and we want to be able to throw light on things that Obi has done. I mean, things we stand to gain, why you should support Obi, why we shouldn't toe the ethnic tribal line, why we should stand, even if other people are doing it, why we shouldn't do it, why we're the unifiers, why we can, no, those are the things I want to hear, all right, why we should, so, because we don't want to derail the space, all right. There are spaces where people discuss those things. People can go there. I've known Alpha for at least for a few months now, and he has zero tolerance for such a kind of conversation. So, which I mean, he's his own. That's his own destiny. So he doesn't participate in that. And for me, I think it gets too heated up for people just get triggered, and before things go out of hand. So let's maintain the topic. Your coalition candidate, market him here. Tell us why you think your candidate should be the candidate. All right, me, I would say this without mixing words. I support Peter Obi. Peter Obi is my candidate for the coalition, and we've given reasons. If we have to give reasons 1 million times why he's our candidate, we'll give reasons. Before I pass the mic, one of my reasons is somebody who focuses on human capital development. And as human beings, the first thing first is developing ourselves before looking at any other thing. And somebody mentioned something about there are countries that do not have natural resources, solid minerals, but they have invested heavily in education and developing their citizens. And these citizens have gone out to attract investment and build serious businesses that employ their people. And these are what we're talking about, all right? And he has shown to be that kind of person, all right? Just by his lifestyle, you can see he's not an extravagant person. Cutting the cost of governance is something that Peter Obi has made very clear. He has proven, even when he renovated the government house, you saw the way he was able to cut the cost of governance there and channel that money into other very critical areas of human development. And people may want to make this argument of okay, is Anambra State, is Onitsha Dubai today? Why is Onitsha not looking like Abuja or Lagos? I mean, I when I listen to those arguments, I think it's a very silly argument because, again, we have seen over and over that education, the things Peter Obi has done in the area of education, I personally, I'm not talking about any other person, have met students in my time of study who went to school in that era. And I tell you, I'm not here to. They were very exceptional students, and the only thing that could build that kind of exceptionality is when there is competition in performance during education, and those students, they performed. I respect them because academically they are super students. All right, so and that's when Peter B started saying these things about education. That was when the bell rang. No wonder these students were like this, and I started to have conversation with him. He said, "Yeah, Peter B came to his school at the time, or came to their school." So these are the things for me. These are very critical areas. Like someone like Wike wants to bamboozle people with building roads and doing all that. I think for me, as long as Nigerians cannot feed, as long as Nigerians are still not able to pay for their children's school fees, as long as Nigerians cannot get that basic human need, I don't see any need for any of all this. We must begin to, put put the torchlight on those critical areas and have those conversations. So that for me is very critical. But the human beings with that has the resource, we must be self-sufficient first before I start talking about. I mean, are you having roads that you cannot even drive to? How many Nigerians live in Abuja? What's the percentage of Nigerians that live in Abuja, where you invest these billions of money all every time? There are rural areas. There are farmers who cannot even afford to buy trucks to carry their goods. So these are the conversation we should be having. No, and pitch your candidate here. Let's have this conversation. Let's educate ourselves. Let's give people reasons. I know there are people who haven't really heard about reasons why they should vote Obi. There are people who haven't heard that. So let's use this opportunity to, talk about him. Educate, so because we want to have a space where we have a lot of people come listen, convince people, not just to have ourselves, dragging out, because we know ourselves here. Most of us on the speaker session, we know ourselves and we've been having conversation for so long. So let's get new people into the conversation. If you want to speak, I think it's the right time to, just put your hands up. I see Martin Ellie. Martin Ellie, please, you have the mic.
Good afternoon, everybody. Please, can you hear me?
Good afternoon, but it's like you're breaking.
Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, I think you can hear me better now.
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So I want to thank Ebu for this conversation and the topic. So and it's a good news this week to hear about the um coalition and engagement, because we have tried to run separately in 2023, and they were able to, all the candidates were able to split the votes, and then the ruling party being able to mobilize more resources and having more structures was able to come out victorious. So it's a good thing that opposition leaders have learned that they cannot do it on their own. They need to collaborate and build bridges across all the opposition leaders, the relevant ones. So it's a good breath for a greater Nigeria in the future ahead. But what I just want to comment on, because since, let's say, 2 days ago, that this whole coalition news, that is the fact that they have adopted ADC as an SPV they are going to use for the coalition. Since the news break out, everybody have just been saying their minds and everything. You can notice that there's a panic, serious panic in the camp of the APC, and it's a good thing to behold. Just like their leader, that is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, made a comment in the Senate House where he said that he's not going to he's not going to tell the opposition to fix their house, and indeed it's a pleasure seeing them in disarray. Now we can see a level of unity, and then the people that are now crying is the ruling party and their supporters. So it's a good thing to see them all in disarray. But my comment has to go to the supporters of Mr. Peter Obi and supporters of Atiku Abubakar majorly, because let's say we may have other people with interest in the coalition, people like Chibukere Rotimi Amechi, but they are not that vibrant in terms of having a massive following, especially in this platform that we are having this conversation. So looking at conversations and tweets that are made by supporters of some of these candidates, they are popular. You notice that if we go with that trajectory, the coalition might end up in coalition even within weeks sef. And like we are rightly informed that this is a move that have been on for months now, and it's a process. The whole process started for a long time, and people have put in energy and work to arrive at this point. So we as supporters, we need to set our emotions aside and work with logic. So the tweets coming from some of the supporters, some say Obi or nothing. If Obi will not be the president, let Tinubu continue to God knows when. Atiku supporters will say the same thing. And I've seen, so now APC supporters now screenshot this comment on the different camps, and okay, I will do that, but I have to just make this comment because it's been disturbing. So what I'm trying to say is that we as supporters need to tone down. We need to tone down how we say is only our candidate or nothing, because if we do it, even at the end of the day, the other candidates that we don't like or we don't expect to win, if the person wins or if our candidate wins the coalition ticket, the other people will still destroy the whole arrangement and everybody will lose. So me now personally, I'm personally I'm an obedient, hardcore obedient for that matter. You get? So, but if we are to market Peter Obi as Peter Obi supporters, I'm marketing Peter Obi based on number one, competence and character. He has all it takes and has the experience to lead this country out of the mess that we are in. And then another factor is the fact that Peter Obi is a Southerner, and Buhari from 2015 down to 2023 was president. That is 8 years. Before Buhari, Goodluck was there for 6 years. That's just 4 years of winning. So trying to oust like Tinubu in 4 years to bring in a northerner, for me, it doesn't sit well with most Southerners, and it will be hard for Atiku to win any Southern state, even if Peter Obi becomes his running mate. So based on competence, character, and experience, and then trying to unite the country by giving the South a chance to complete their 4 years is the ground that me I'm projecting. I'm supporting Peter Obi to lead that ticket. That's my take. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for your submission. At least when you finished, at least we know who you support, and you've given us reasons why you support him. Thank you very much. This is let's go to the next speaker, and that's Chief Cabal. Chief Cabal, you have the mic. If you want to speak, please put up your hand so I can see you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doctor. Good afternoon, everyone. I noticed some people are saying they will not register with the ADC except Peter Obi emerges. And I'm quite shocked about that. People have come together. We want genuine practices. We want internal democracy to be practiced, not platforms where people will be selected. And I believe there will be primaries conducted. So if there's going to be primaries conducted, it will be wise for every Peter Obi supporter to register as a party member, to become card-carrying member, so that you can vote for those who will become delegates. It is not enough to say until give us Peter Obi. Nobody will give you Peter Obi on a platter of gold. What we should clamor for is the South must complete its turn. Peter Obi said he can do a lot within 2 years. It doesn't need 8 years to set the ball rolling for a new Nigeria that we clamor for. And he's correct. He can do it for 2 years. If someone else says it, I will not believe. But if Peter Obi says, I can do this within the next 2 years, I can believe him with all my life. But we cannot demand for him to be given to us. We need to register so that we can vote for delegates that will go and elect him to emerge as the candidates. Yes, those appealing to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar tonight. The letter from Vindicated Chidi is beautiful. I love the letter. I'm even planning to make an article out of it and let it blow out so that the man reads it and see and consider and back Peter Obi. God give him good health. 2031, he can emerge, and then Amechi emerge as his vice. I want Peter Obi and Dati Baba Ahmed to go for 2027. But I will not sit down and be saying, give us Peter Obi. No. I'm going to mobilize people to register, become members, so that when they say it's going to be by voting, then we're all prepared. I believe we have more numbers than them. So what is it that we are afraid to go to the primaries to elect our leader, Peter Obi? I don't get it. And those who are saying until he emerges before they will register with ADC, they're making a lot of mistake. They're making a lot of mistake, and they would regret it. I hope it doesn't backfire on us. We need to register and position ourselves in everywhere from the ward to the state level. We need to hold party office positions. We need to be the majority there at the grassroots level. So this is the information I want to pass out to those calling for Peter Obi to be given the tickets. He's not going to be served on the platter of gold. He has to earn it. And he can, with our numbers, the obedient numbers, the Peter Obinarians numbers can do it, can give him that ticket. It is not going to be free, so we need to work hard and get it for him. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I just want to disagree on just a little thing. I agree on most of the things you said, but to say he has to end it, I think he has ended it. I think he has over ended it. All right. And I agree when you say, let's go and dominate the place. All right. And I've always said, that that voice must be so loud that these people would know that we mean business when it comes to Peter Obi. And the idea of saying, oh, no, he has ended. We've seen over the past 2 years, nobody has moved, crisscrossed this country the way he has done. All right. Nobody has invested their time the way he has done. So now I want to also stand on those people who might have concerns. Their concerns is very valid. Why? Because the Nigerian political space over the years has proven, a lot of them have proven not, you can't trust them. They are very deceptive. Very, very deceptive. All right. So we must make it very clear. And I think that is the right thing to do. You must make it very clear. All right. We want a candidate that inspire us, that motivate us to do something for the country. We want a country a candidate that would trigger the diaspora to bring back their money. We want a president that would, at the end of the day, generate love for nation building, because we lack this in Nigeria. And I see that person in P2B. P2B embodies our aspirations. All right. Somebody who, with the little resources in Anambra, was able to save money. Anambra wasn't owing. It was least indebted state, by the debt management report. So this is something that this man has done. Left money for the state. We've had, how many governors have left money for their states? There is one now that has been dragged up and down. EFCC looking for him up and down. People in his state are living in IDP camps, but he has paid for school fees years ahead for his own children, not in Nigeria. For me, I mean, yeah, let's market P2B. I think P2B is so easy to market. You can easily market him, except there is some ulterior.
Peter Obi doesn't. Sorry, Peter Obi doesn't need marketing. He's already there. He's already shown that he has the capacity,
So,
competence to lead the country. What we need to do is to make sure whatever guidelines, whatever they want, whatever rules they want to play by, we the obedience are everywhere. If they want to go by primaries, we are there in numbers. We don't need to go back and forth who Peter B is. We all know. But we
yes.
need to be prepared for whatever they want to put out there. We can't allow them to shock us in any way. We need to be prepared for whatever the
All
coalition
right.
wants to bring.
Thank you very much.
So that
Thank you very
Peter
much. I
Obi,
think we have
so that
learned,
Peter Obi
we've
will
heard
not
you, we've learned from what our Labour Party experienced. Let's move the mic now to
Please,
Justice.
just for 30 seconds before you move the mic, just for what I want a clarification, please.
All right, please go ahead.
Yeah, so he's talking about populating. I'm not against obedient populating any party, but my interest is this. Do you know that the number of delegates from ward level up to national level is less than the statutory delegates? Who are those ex this, ex that, former this, former that? So in that case now, how do we maneuver this scenario? That is one hand. On the other hand, I also stand with him that if we populate, they will see that the whole voice everywhere is obedient. And maybe possibly those statutory delegates will begin to align, see the voice of the people. Let's resist this dollar and do the right thing.
Yeah, thank you very much for also adding that, because again, that's why I keep talking about our voice has to be very loud. Our position has to be very clear. That anybody who comes into that coalition and does otherwise or try to manipulate or play not by the rules, will show that person that we're here. All right. So let's move the mic to Justice. Justice, you have the mic. Thank you. Justice, are you there?
Okay, good afternoon, all. I'm here.
Please go ahead. Make your submission.
First, I want to disabuse the minds of every Nigerian of that mundane maxim of voting along tribal lines. When it comes to Southeast, I don't think anybody gave clarity as to why the Southeast voted P2B. The Southeast voted P2B because he was the best candidate, not because he's from Southeast. From 1999, we have always voted the best candidate. Obasanjo, we left Alex Ekweme and every other person and chose Obasanjo because we trusted competency. And in Lagos too, there is something I want to say. I have lived in Lagos, and more than 90% of Yorubas I met were like my brothers. It's just a very few. I call this MTLO, the ones that are not very educated.
Just hold on. Yusuf, please. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Justice. Justice, please go ahead. Justice, are you there? I don't know. I think he fell off. Nedu, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I think
I think he's having a network problem. Let's go to Chief Kaba again. Maybe there are some things you want to also straighten up.
Okay, there is something else I want to say,
Okay,
but when you
Nedu,
call
you
me.
can go before him.
Okay, no, Chief Kabak can go because I think I have spoken enough. But
No, it's okay.
after him,
Nedu, you can go, please. Please go ahead.
There was some guy that was saying obedience should not be making categorical statements or categorical demands. I'm not. I think the last two speakers before as came in. So here is my point. Sorry, here is my take about coalition, and I think I shared this point with Alpha earlier. In fact, that's one of the regrets I have over this space because we are trying to trash out that point before we digressed a lot. The truth is this: we on or myself, I'm not angling for an election in ADC, or we are not looking for an, and I'm not sure Peter will be standing in for any election. I believe that closer to that election, if these people are playing games with Obi, Obi knows when they are playing games, like, oh, they want to Niger him into a primaries and then rubbish, because that's just what is playing out. Let's not kid ourselves. Nobody's a child here. We can see through this trick, and that's exactly what that he was saying in that Twitter, sorry, in that Arise News. We can see through these tricks because number one, you cannot assure a free fair election except you are doing just a direct primaries. You can vote from anywhere in the world, but anytime it's delegated, whether it becomes susceptible to bribery, and there is no way you can police that. And Obi is not ready to Sherman. So the moment it's clear to us that they are not going to zero down on a consensus candidate, which is our candidate, we will nuke that party. Let's be clear on this. We will leave that, we will nuke it. And that's exactly what that was saying. So some guy came here and was trying to say something about what that is saying. And Chukudema was telling him that what you heard that he say on that interview is Obi's mindset, he's saying. So I want to say to everyone who is on this ADC ticket to tamper your expectation, because there is the possibility that we may walk out of it. And that's what I want to say. Thank you so much, Dr. CJ.
All right. Thank you for also making that point clear, because for me, there's no way going for what you want. You start going through the corners. If you want something, you make it clear. Let it be clear. Very clear that anyone, anywhere will know what we want and what we're yearning for. So let's go to the Chief Cabal, please. You have the mic.
Okay, I agree with the last speaker, and I really understand where he's coming from because we already experienced that. One thing that has to be clear: if Peter Obi is now coming out to say he's with the coalition. He knows what he's doing. He will not fall for their tricks. He will want things to be properly done. So they must have come to that agreement that things has to be properly done in a non-corrupt way. He will never be party to that. He would have given them his terms and conditions. And Nedu is right. We need to be prepared. We need to have our contingency plan, exit plan, if they misbehave. Because at the end of the day, they will lose. Peter Obi standing alone still has a chance, more than them, to win an election. But it's just that this time around, we're not going to lie down and somebody's trying to steal the results all over again. You can hear Dati saying 10 million votes. I'm telling people Peter Obi got about 12 million votes. And Dati believes they're in the position to do it again, and they can do it again. That's why I'm insisting obedience, flood in that ADC. Flood in, be there. Take over the party. All those statutory delegates cannot work because they don't have a minister, they don't have House of Rep members. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's going to be from the party ESCOs. Party ESCOs will form majority of the delegates. So they're not going to adopt the PDP style or the APC style whereby they have existing ministers, they have existing House of Rep members, they have existing senators, commissioners, and all. No. This is going to be delegates. You and I, from ward level, vote for delegates from the ward level, vote the local government ward level.
On your end. So you try to analyze this through markets, through schools, and that's a very good way of estimating it. One could justifiably argue that on those areas. So that's just to tell you that I understand what you're saying and I agree with you, and I never thought about it that way. I was just looking at just observation and then also the heat map that I have. Now, my second question to you is this. This is a yes or no answer. Do you agree that election is more about influence than numbers? I'll give you an example. If, let's say in Unical, you have 10 students, the 10 students are the best students. They have money, they are very bright, very intelligent, very handsome, beautiful, well-dressed, very smart, everything. They are just the envy of every student on campus. So you have 10 students on one hand, then you have 40 students on another hand. These 40 students are the scorn of everyone. They are dirty, they are not rich, they are not intelligent, they fail their courses, they're always fighting on the XYZ. So you have these two demographics. And then you have the population, which is, let's say, 1,000 students who want to vote on a candidate. Do you agree with me today that if I tell you that if Camp B is if Camp A is projecting Camp A, is projecting candidate A, and Camp B is projecting Camp B, is projecting candidate B, that Camp A will win? Do you agree with me on that? Do you understand my question?
Yeah, I didn't get the full analysis. That's the first problem, right? But again, um,
I said
yeah, because I think
that election.
you brought up, yeah, it's more of influence than numbers, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
not voting, election campaigns, not voting. Election campaign is more of influence than numbers.
election campaign. So I don't even understand what you mean by election being more of influence.
Campaign is about on your side, to your side, right? So winning numbers to your side, winning people to your side, right? So people
Okay,
on the side
okay,
who they like,
okay.
eh?
Yeah. I think it's more of influence. Narrative is what shapes how people actually talk. How do you will turn out to vote in the actual election?
So you said that.
It doesn't matter. I say narrative. Can you hear me?
Exactly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I say narrative is what actually shapes how people finally make their decision. Not even the number of people supporting you at the first day. That's just it. You can have at the time you are starting. That's why there's always a flip. At the time you are starting, you may have 500 people backing you, and the other guy you are running with, nobody is backing him. At the time both of you begin to sell your narrative, demography. So yeah, I believe the influence matter is by far the truth. It doesn't matter because numbers are not static. They are not static, right? So I think I agree with you on that. If that is actually what you mean,
Yeah, that's
yeah, I believe that
you know what?
that it played out in the last election, right? If you place Labour Party side by side before PO went there, right? You will say that if you ask anybody, in fact, if you ask anybody to say who will win the South, for example, if you are going to do odds like you use that people use in this thing in the gaming market, right? Maybe the odds for Labour to win to get more than what is it called PDP, they reach 10,000 odds because it's an impossible thing. I mean, totally impossible. Nobody can imagine it in this life.
Yeah.
It's just like saying, in fact, just imagine any underdog doing anything in this life. That is just what it is. Let me not just focus on the general election, just South. Even let's even say Anambra State, use one state. The odds that LP, right?
Yeah.
Let's say prior to PDP primaries, right?
Mm.
Then like when you go back to US election that time, they will say who will likely win. They will not see. They will put Joe Biden. They will put Kamala Harris. At that time when they started before the race, Kamala Harris
And I can hear you.
Kamala Harris numbers would have been close to 100 until when this guy began to.
Breaking again.
Yeah, can you still hear me? Call was
Yeah,
coming in. Huh?
you were breaking before.
Okay. My God. I'm coming. Just give me 1 minute.
And CJ, you went out before. It looks like your network was bad. Can you request the mic, or maybe so because you are trying to say something then before you. Chief Cabal, want to say something just to keep this space.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
Okay, so that's just the bottom line of what I'm saying, right? I think what actually happened is the presence of in LP actually changed the narrative and directed people's mind towards something. The same thing is happening with ADC today and everything. So the numbers are not static. So if you're able to control the narrative based on influence and everything, I mean, you attract more people, most likely are going to win the numbers. So if that is what you actually mean in here, except you mean something else, I don't properly understand.
That's exactly what I mean because why I was writing on that is when people do their demography, you know, the first thing with demographic studies is to first of all know what you're trying to measure. So they ignore some of these facts. So they just measure. I don't know what they use Nigerian data, which you and I know is corrupt. Nigerian data is wrong. Just like the same way that everybody's now shouting, "Oh, we got 6 million for Tinubu got 8 million." Well, we know that Tinubu didn't even get up to 5 million in the last election. So why plan with that data? So excuse me. So, but I'm trying to show something here, that regardless of anything, no matter how you do this election, Obi will win. And I'm not talking about I'm just saying this because we are just few on this page, so I'm free to say, my mind. If we are like 50, 60, I would be tampering a lot of words. So no matter how you do the election, Obi is going to win in a landslide, because he doesn't need to control everybody, or maybe he doesn't need to dominate, but he dominates the most critical part of the conversation. And that's why I said influence, and then you rewarded it as narrative, which is nice. Dominating that as that sector or that segment gives you an immense power, no matter what anybody wants to say, because that segment stands to represent, you may say, just the better part of the society, or the better part of the population. So for me, why I went into this is to begin to say that we don't necessarily need. I may be a political novice on this, but I don't see us desperately wanting to have this so-called arrangements. We are not lacking in any way. We are not like when Obi came to run an election. There was nobody in Nigeria that was not yapping his mouth. Delo Momodu, everybody were, he's not gonna blah 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 blah. He's not gonna. In fact, some people even went. Somebody like Dele Momodu went on a more personal level and started saying, Obi is not going to win, not because he's a good man, not because he's not a good man, but because he doesn't have the money. And I'm like, boy, I'm from Anambra State. And then, and Anambra people believe in this guy, and you are telling me that somebody Anambra people believe in doesn't have money. Only Anambra people, just only like I can mention even him. I'm not trying to overtalk or try to sound too much, but I can mention 5 people in my town who can just very easily support Obi's election to any level you want. So but when people say all these things, okay, why is he saying Obi doesn't have money? Because he has a preconceived a preconceived mindset that he's looking at Obi personally. I'm probably calculating his money based on what he has seen Obi spending, But he's not looking at the fact that he may not have money, well, which is a lie, which is a very fat lie. But he has people who are ready to support him. So it goes back to this thing Nigerians do, where and that's what I have been trying to set up in this space. When you set up a conversation, you have to set up the foundation first. You have to set up the ground level, what we are going to stand on to make an argument. So when people say these things, they are not arguing with a correct foundation. The same thing when people say Obi is not going to get numbers. You forgot the fact that, that's why I asked you about the Igbo number. You forgot the fact that he has representation. They say, he has no structure. You forgot the fact that he has representation. This one is no longer in every ward. He has representation in almost every building in Nigeria. Every building in Nigeria, courtesy of his affiliation. But we are looking at it from political standpoint. He doesn't have a council. For you, we are looking at. We always start a conversation from shaky grounds. You want to say, okay, maybe 2027, that will be, we need a radical, and you forgot the fact that this guy has the majority of the population. Which one is more radical? So, like somebody who has the majority of the population. So I've looked at it in every way, in all consciousness. To be honest with you, see what I see in that coalition. Let me tell you the truth. What I see in that coalition with P2B is that P2B reluctantly agreed to that coalition. But my mind, from all I see, from reading P2B's body language with what that is saying, I think Obi is playing 5D chess here. He's playing a 5D chess, which a lot of people are not seeing. No, he's just saying, okay, fine. Since you people are pressuring me, because Obi has been pressured for a long time, for almost 2 years now, coming to this coalition. I know for a fact, I know that Atiku has been begging Obi for them to go into a party. I know this one for a fact, because somebody close to Atiku told my brother this thing. So I think Obi just reluctantly yielded, just to get the conversation going. However, if anybody thinks that guy will come in and then be playing this Unawayo game, primaries this, and then yeah. Obi is just having a laugh with everybody. I can tell you when I listen to, I'm just going on the monologue because nobody's on the speaker section, so just let me keep this thing going for a little while. If we don't get more speakers, then we'll have to close it. When I listen to that on that interview, I immediately said to myself, "Boy, this is Obi talking." And everybody should go and read that interview and know what Obi is thinking, because that guy, nobody will spend. Do you know? Nobody will spend all the things Obi has spent. Like CJ was talking about how emaciated the guy looks now, and then after all these things, it's just to go and be VP to a man who completely dominates on every level, internationally, locally, money wise. Anything you can mention, it's just madness. So that it just came to set the, because a lot of obedience have started being unnecessarily excited about the whole process. CJ, I see you. You leave. I see you leave. Request for mic, please. Let's. I don't know what's wrong with your network. Anyway, it's almost.
Even Dr. PJ's network is actually very bad. They're struggling with it. But again, I think I agree with you. Even me, basically. If you look at me, these things are very easy to spot out, right? When you went for the coalition meeting, right, you went with his people. That is to make a statement. I'm not coming here alone. So you went with all the members of House of Senate and the National Assembly. That's close to 35 people in total. So that's to make the statement. I am not coming here to actually beg for anything. We are coming here to strike a deal, right? Now, when you look at it, there's something that people are not seeing. All of them, most of them put on their ADC cap. It's only his people that didn't put on the cap. Then you can go back and look at those videos and and look at the pictures, and you will see whether anybody from Obi's camp of LP or anybody who is loyal to him actually put on that ADC cap. Not one person. But again, he's still playing the long game also because he has some of his people in the coalition. So they are doing it because we know the caliber of the people they are dealing with. And I believe what that he said is actually the real mindset. Right? You are not going to make your proposal because this is what I said, right? And this is my mind. Right? Some people say let us trust him to make his own decision, right? Yes, that is the best thing. And those people actually believe that he will be forced to actually accept to probably be VP or to stay out of the race, right? But again, you're telling me let us trust him to make his decision. They are coming out to also threaten him that he shouldn't stand out when they don't make it negotiation. It's actually madness. It's either you trust the decision or you don't trust it. Now, but this is my stand, right? He has come out to tell us that he believes in power rotation. He said it every day. He practices it in Anambra State. So if the coalition people make it clear that they don't believe in power rotation, it shouldn't even be there in the first place. Because it will be like in fact, if any other person forgives him, I mean, if he mess up his personality, that was what happened to Kowa. Kowa hosted us at the empowerment. Then as if we chose him as running mate, he accepted. It means you don't even believe in what you're saying. So it's either you believe in power rotation or you don't believe in it, right? And if you are going to sacrifice your personal principle to win an election, then why do I even trust you to actually be to represent me in government? There are differences that you make promises and you get there, you discover that this thing cannot be kept and this thing this thing is difficult and all those things. Uh, it's a different ball game entirely. Maybe you promised to build roads, you didn't know about it. You now came and discovered that it will cost more money. Building the road is not economically viable and all those things. I can take that, right? Because I will say you don't understand. But when you tell me that you believe in this, you believe this thing should be done like this. You believe that, for example, let me see, you believe that children should come to school on a Saturday, for example, and you campaign with that. That is your personal conviction. Then when you get into office, you start telling me that, or when you now meet some other people, then I tell you that if you are not ready to stop this thing, I mean, if you do that thing, it means you have no personal principles. So for me, anything that makes him even agree to go with into a primary with an Atiku Abubakar, that is total failure for me. I mean, it's totally out of it. It's totally out of it. He will be in the rank of Buhari and everything. Because Buhari is even better. Buhari totally has shown or displayed that he doesn't believe in rotation. So he continued to run, and that is the problem I have with Atiku Abubakar. So I wouldn't even want to have the same problem I have with Atiku Abubakar with Peter Obi, right? It will be very terrible. This elderly statesman, as he seems to be today, made so many cases for rotational presidency and zoning
Mhm.
in 2003, in 2011, even in 2007, even in 2015. But he came to 2023 and told, even in 2019, he did the same thing by saying he will do only a single tenor.
Mhm.
But he came to 2023 and told us that where the president comes
Doesn't matter.
in our house that the Northerners don't need a Southerner, need a Yoruba man to be president. That what they need is a Northerner who understands Nigeria. So that is actually a bad double standard, right? But the some statements, right? There are decisions you can make. I believe you can work back on it, right? There are some things there are some views you can have. You can work back on it and say, oh, I'm actually wrong here. I don't do that's normal in everyday life. But when you talk about fundamentals, like this power rotation thing, right? Or like certain things, it makes it a whole lot bad and actually unnecessary. That's what I think about him. So if he actually works back on power rotation, but I think if he's making the power rotation case, but this is not the first time he's saying it, right? And he introduces Anambra State. So if he's making the power rotation case, right, what I'm expecting is that he's not going to run in 2031. But again, if he's just making it as a political case to get into power, then he can still run in 2021. What do I mean? In a case he wins, in a case he participates in the primaries, and I believe that was why Jonathan actually tried to run a second term. And if I
Mhm.
had this information, probably I would not have supported him. People said that he promised to do one tenor. Now that was
Yeah.
why he won. But this is the problem, right?
Sorry.
These people
He
didn't even
did.
allow him to. Yeah, let me just say this. The problem is that these people didn't even allow him to do the one tenor. Okay, what do I mean by that? In a PDP primary, a national contested against him as Atiku Abubakar. Then in general election, three Northerners went against him and he won them. So it was not like it was ceded to him and say, go and do one tenor. And even the Northerners didn't vote for him. So on what ground are you coming back to tell him that he promised to do one tenor, that he was not going to do a second tenor? So if you get the argument that I'm making, right? So you cannot tell me, for example, that yes, You cannot tell me that I promise you, if you are going to support me, I will do one tenor. Then I went on to and see that he did not support me. Then I won you in the election. Yeah, and that came back to tell me that because I told you if you support me, I will do one tenor. That means I'm not keeping to agreement. It doesn't make any sense. And I believe that is where anybody is blaming Jonathan, because I see a lot of Atiku Cycle fans trying to throw Jonathan under the bus. Yeah,
See,
because they
let me
want Atiku.
something.
Yeah, that's just what that is just the argument I can put up for Jonathan. I don't think, because if you look at it in both ways, in the PDP primaries, right? The northeast and northwest isn't actually supporting. Go and look at the numbers. It was tabulated state by state, and that was the last time they did it. Now they just combine everything. We don't know who voted who. It was tabulated each state. Their ballot box was there, right? He won the south and north central. He didn't win northeast and northwest. Now, in the general election, he also won the south and northwest and north central. He lost woefully in northeast and northwest. They voted for Muhammadu Buhari. So under what ground are you now telling him that you are agreed? Who are the you? Because the agreement will not be just if you are agreed, you wouldn't have presented a candidate. If you also agree on the second thought, you would have supported him irrespective of the fact that you have a northern candidate. But for the fact that the northern candidate did better than him in the north, so that he didn't support him. So
Yeah.
under what guise are you hiding to say that you reach agreement with you and is not honoring the agreement? So that is where I stand on that. So you can you can continue, my boss.
Yeah. The point is, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, there should be rotational president in Nigeria. As far as I'm concerned, and as far as I'm concerned, I was like, I think you said, I don't know, somebody said on this space before that we are not going into the coalition to beg. We are going in there to make demands, you know, and that is what you do when you control the levers of negotiation. America will not call Nigeria into negotiation. Let's negotiate. America will give you command. They will tell you what to do. You know, then of course, they will go into negotiation with China. You know, because it's they are equal power. So for me, I don't believe Obi is going into negotiation to. So I don't believe Obi is going into that coalition to make to beg. He's going in there to make demands, but of course he's not going to sound like me, who is unaffected. He's going to sound very humble in his demand, and that's what is deceiving a lot of people. You know, they allow P2B's humility and politeness to downplay how serious what he's saying is. He's gonna go in there to sell himself. But to be honest with you, whether Atiku runs or he does not run, it's very immaterial to me. And the reason is he never he's not a threat to us, and he will never be a threat. You know, he's not a threat. He's never a threat. Forget all the. Listen, I have done my calculation in Nigeria, and that's why I posed those questions about the Igbo people influence. Because if you follow that train of thought, you could actually do your clustering and see where the so-called voting strength lies. You know, so what I see here with P2B, with coalition, I continue to say everybody has to be cautiously optimistic. But I want to say something. There was something you said when you started about what that is said on that interview, and then what you think is P2B's disposition. And something occurred to me. There was something that he stressed when he was making his submission. So during that Arise interview, and that's it that he said, he asked Charles to go back and read the communique of the coalition. So he stressed on it, and immediately I said to myself, you know what? This communique, those texts he said, because he said the communique was very explicit that the members of the coalition are still free to be in their different parties, you know. Immediately he said that, I said, I can bet anything that it was P2B that asked them to insert that. Obi is 10 steps ahead. What Obi is playing in Nigeria is what I call 5D chess. Let me tell you something, and I'm just now trying to round off, you know, because we've held this space for long. Obi is autistic. That's one thing people don't know. Obi has autism. And if you Google on your end, if you check Google, or if you look at the even though autism has a different spectrum, but the most intelligent people who have run this world, most of them are autistic. Elon Musk is autistic, you know. Not America, and even Europe is it. That's why I like their environment, because it's what you may call knowledge economy, and that's what BB is saying. You know, it's a place where there is, so people continue to analyze people. So there is current academic studies about autism, and one thing that autistic people are very intelligent. If you listen to Elon Musk, you know, you see the man is, there is also a way he talks, same as Sobi. But one thing, one thing people have come to realize as part of this experiment is that apart from intelligence, autism people are unbelievably determined. Obi is a very determined, like he's a restless fighter. He's somebody that, you know, I remember when Tinubu came to Anambra State, not at Delta, and he was saying, he was trying to cast slurs on Obi, and they said, oh, the other candidates, I won't even mention his name. It's a shame to mention his name. I just laughed. I said, this man, you don't know who you are fighting. Oh, you think by showing Peter Obi a fist fight, like showing him a fist cuff, a clenched fist, by mentioning that, you somehow demotivate Obi from challenging you, you know, by trying to sound, you know, I'm Jagaban. That thing does not deceive. Obi doesn't care about what you're saying. He has his goal. He has his eyes on the goal. Even with a gun on his head, that guy is, I can bet on Obi. Let me tell you, I had that experience with Peter Obi in 2002. If you're in Anambra State, I won't mention this family, you know, but this family is from Enugu. The man owns about he owns 3 hotels in Enugu in just 1 kilometer radius. He owns the hotel between Ogui Presidential and GRA and Upper Avenue. That's 1 kilometer radius. He owns three hotels. This man knew Obi from, you know, Obi's father was popular as a trader in Onitsha market. In Onitsha. So both the man and Obi's dad, they all grew up together, you know, as Oga Pekin. So and they also, you know, they grew up together. They have known themselves for a very long time. So when Obi was contesting for governorship, Obi was staying in this man's hotel. You know, Obi was staying in this man's hotel. And what Obi was doing was, because Obi was living in Lagos then. So, and Obi ran a kind of campaign. And this is something I've been trying to tell people about P2, because one of the things I do as part of somebody who lives in a knowledge economy is also to understand, like, to follow the trail of every event, to follow the trail of every process and say, hey, what is this thing that is happening? What is not happening? You know, because when you follow the trail of things that are happening, you're able to know where to stick the pendulum. You just don't come in halfway. So this man, Obi was living in Lagos. Then I think Obi also lived in Aglo, his father's house. But Obi was running a kind of campaign. Obi is the first person I've seen that have done that. He did it at state level and he did it at national level. Obi was going all through the 5 southeastern states, talking to Anambra people in every state. So he was running an election in Anambra, but he will go to Ebonyi State and request the Anambra people and request to speak with Anambra people. So they will they will book a hotel, and then they will come to a hotel, maybe at the conference center, the conference hall, and then he will be able to interact with them. Obi was doing this thing all the 5 southern states, just like he did it also during his presidential election. He went round some countries, meeting with Nigerian diasporas, because he looks at his voting, and that's why I called influence. You know, there's something I called them. You know, Obi is 20 steps ahead of time. I'm still coming to it because we've not finished dissecting that. We've not. So because Obi, yes, Anambra people in Enugu don't vote. In Anambra people in Abia State don't vote. That's why I talked about influence, but they have influence what is happening in Anambra today. I'm not in Anambra. I'm not even in Nigeria, but I have people I support their life in Nigeria. And they know that me, I'm heavily anti-Soludo, like heavily. I don't even want to hear that man's name. In fact, I was telling somebody that I am more desperate for Soludo to lose than even I'm desperate for me to be president. But that's a different matter for another day. So Obi was going around. So this man, Obi was staying in this man's hotel, you know, and I think the man gave it to him for free. Obi was sleeping in his hotel. My aunt, I have an aunt then, who was working as a financial controller for the man, because the man is a rich man. You know, most families in Anambra know this family I'm talking about. but the family is mostly into construction, into contracts. But they were part of the people that I would say squandered Anambra resources under Mbanoju, because what they were doing was they were doing what's the name of this thing? Contract reevaluation. You give them 1 million naira contract, they will do 200,000 naira contract after 1 year. The next day they will come and say, governor, this contract we need to reevaluate it. And then Mbanoju then had no choice; he was just signing off Anambra money. So this was what they were doing. But this man had to be sleeping in his hotel, in his hotel, and probably gave it to free for to Obi. And he was telling my aunt that he doesn't want P2B to win. Imagine, somebody gave your attention, and they are very bosom friend all the way from childhood. They went into university. I don't think he went to UNM, but I don't know the university when Palace, and they all made it to life, became very successful. And he was telling my aunt that he doesn't want to win the election. And my aunt was asking. Then I never knew about who Obi is. It was 2009 that my aunt was telling me this story when something was going wrong between the man and Obi. So my aunt was telling him why. He told my aunt that the reason he doesn't want Obi is because Obi is going to cancel their contract. And this is a man that was so close to you, and so that Obi is going to unplug them. In fact, the word my aunt uses is that Obi gakopo hanoko. So Obi is going to unplug them from Anambra resources. So. And what happened? Eventually, when Obi won that election, one of the first contracts Obi cancelled in Anambra State was this man's contract. And it was this same contract Obi is talking about, building of Anambra Lodge, Anambra Presidential Lodge. He was the one handling it that time. Obi just canceled. And you know what Obi normally do or does, which gives him the moral high ground to do those things, is the first thing he does is, first of all, he comes to come and starve himself. He starves from himself. He will first of all purge himself. And the moment he purges himself, he now owns that moral high ground to screw anybody, And that's why he keeps saying that if you are not eating and your wife and children are not eating. So most Anambra men then were very angry with him. Even the man was very angry. But when you go to him and ask him, Oga, contract, he will tell you, did you see me doing, did you see me do any contract? And once he says that to you, you surrender, like you are now I would say outgone, because you can't say, okay, I'm not hemorrhaging on Anambra finances. How do you want to come in when I as the governor is not spending their money? So but Obi was able to cut everybody off. Man, people were like, in fact, let me tell you a story. Even Chris Woba, because my family, we did government Anambra, especially the private sector, especially the civil service sector. Even Chris Ngige was paying Chris Woba until P2B left. Sorry, until Ngige left. There was a contract Ngige was doing, Oba was doing. That contract was the contract of New Anambra Government House. Oba was doing it with his company called Trackers. He was paid 10 million naira every month, all the way from, what's this guy's name? Mwobodo, Jim Mwobodo. All the way from Jim Mwobodo, every month 10 million. Nobody's seen anything done. Even Chris Ngige continued it. Ngige paid it till the very day he ended. The person who came and stopped that contract was P2B. Immediately P2B came in, he stopped the contract. So why am I saying this thing? Number one, P2B is very much used to taking very, very, very hard decisions. People just underestimate him because of the way he carries himself. But what they don't know is that in the world of what you may call sophistry, or in the world of sophistication, being polite, carry yourself weakly is one way to win the fight. In fact, it's a way to win the fight. If you really want to know who Obi is, if you really, really want to know how Obi operates, who Obi is, I recommend a book for anybody who wants to know how Obi is. Go and read. I read this book when I was 2010. The name of the book is How Britain Made the Modern World. The name of the book is How Britain Made the Modern World. It's written by, I think, Neil Ferguson. Neil Ferguson. And you will learn all the tricks, because how can a country that is just twice the size of Southeast, or maybe 3 times, or maybe 1/3 of Nigeria, that's Britain, has just 1/3 of Nigerian number, is even an island nation, control the entire universe for 300 years, How is it possible? America is struggling to control the world after 70 years of immense opportunities. Britain today, the Canadian dollar has the image of Queen Elizabeth. Britain colonized Canada. They colonized UK. They colonized Australia. They defeated China multiple times in war. They won the First World War, so to speak. How are they able to do it? So I gained that inquisition from a young age, and I started studying that book. And anytime I look at P2B, even his businesses, even his investment, even everything I see from that guy is I would say it's a cut out from that book. He just cut it out from that book. Everything, even the way, because one of the things Britain used in colonizing the world, it was finance, stock market. So and this is what I want to introduce. This is where my thesis is going. To understand Obi and to understand Obi's politics. That's why this guy was asking you, is Obi small? Is Obi a child? That's why I wanted that conversation to continue. Because what they don't understand is, to understand Obi, to be able to predict Obi, you have to live Nigerian politics. You have to live Nigerian way of thinking. The Nigerian way of thinking is so backwarded. Like, I'm not even sure that at the 17th century people were thinking like that. It's so backwarded that you can't follow Obi up with Nigerian way of thinking. She's just gonna play, you are gonna just play stupid, and that's why nobody ever sees him coming. In Anambra State, when he won his election, nobody saw him coming, because they will always be predicting him to follow the path they all know. Oh, he's gonna do this, he doesn't have money. But they don't know the man is playing five. And for me, as a person who has actually followed Obi and read up things, I know what he's up to. I always know what he's up to. I think we gotta drop here. Um
then they will make you go viral during election period. You will think it's one important person that said it. You will think it's one local government, it's the president that said it. No. Just Twitter conversation. They will try to take it and start circulating it and say this is what the Igbos want. The Igbos want to enter into power. They are doing power starve. That is why they are supporting the That is why they are supporting the North. That is not good for the narrative that they are trying to sell. But people will just, and if you go the ethnic way, if you are going to play tribal politics, you are not going to win it. You are not going to win it. They will deploy. I mean, they have better arsenal than you, man. They have better arsenal than you. You have a Tinubu Yoruba president, right? That's better happening now because you are fronting with what is happening in the middle belt now between health crisis and looking at Tinubu running tickets without any Fulani man. Right? You go the ethnic way you live. It doesn't even make any sense. I mean, I don't do any ethnic things, right? If you go the ethnic way, I can pride myself. Yeah, I pride myself as proper in the man, speak never be the man, right? I do that. And I pride in the pride of the Igbo race, and even in the pride of Anambra people. Like you see that video where Obi was talking about the exploits of Indiana across the globe and even in the world, right? I mean, but all this will come and start using up tribal sentiment in the election and all this nonsense. It doesn't make any sense because that is not what the average is. I remember when I was talking with my other brother, I was like, this thing is, why did we even support Goodluck Jonathan? Because there was a time we were hosting these cases, right? They were like, how did we draw people this, we draw people that? They don't have numbers. The guy was like, what difference does it make that we draw man? I mean, and in reality, maybe to other people it makes some difference, but in reality it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any. It is going to make a policy. And if Nigeria has not degraded to that level, even when Rochas Senator did that indigenous scholarship in Imo State. But again, on the average, Nigeria has not degraded to that level. That is just my minute number. This is very small number. Or even when you pass did that nonsense. Not you pass, I mean, did that nonsense we did in Abia State, right? It has not really degraded to that level where it is tribal sentiment. Because vast majority people in civil service in Nigeria they are less than 2%. So the decision the government is going to make is sentiments on what will affect the 2% of the people to make it. So it doesn't really make any sense. Nigeria has not degraded to that level where if you want to go to school, um, in fact, it doesn't. It cannot really happen. So me personally, I am not going to do that. So and the thing is this: it doesn't still matter what if your market will be on tribal front. You are not winning that. You are not going to win it. So I don't really know why people want to do that. Then when you try to correct their this thing, they start trying to make things post time. But anyway, I think it's a this is the type of conversation that really me I like having, right? When you are having an agreement, not necessarily agree with everybody. Yeah, you know you are going somewhere, not just anybody just coming to say whatever is in mind. I mean, I find that very difficult because I believe in free speech 100%, but again, I still know that speeches has consequences, and I will not rule that out. Yeah, Nedu, thank you very much for coming around. Any last word before I close this, please?
Oh, no, no further speaker. We just have to close it, So I have to run now. All right, see you some other time.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I don't know. I'm thinking tomorrow I will be considering. Well, my space will either come on the Eastern Security Corridor or Anambra State election, either of them. But I think I will give a coalition maybe 2 days. We'll still revisit it. It's still all good, right? Because to me, it's a two-way thing, right? I'm glad that APC are beginning to feel the fear, right? And I'm also glad that everything is happening at the same time. It's about getting APC out of office, and it's also about replacing them with something better than them. So